All right. Back
All
to the quarterfinals after round 6. On the right side, you see Slimefoot. On the left side, I'm playing again with my 4-color pile.
Yes. This round was maybe a little bit stressful for you since the two of us that were there with you didn't manage to make it into the top 8, so we were waiting for you to finish so that we could go home.
Yeah, it was also stressful because I had like 3 hours of sleep and we had to. I was totally wasted anyways, and I think you didn't sleep that much either.
I did not sleep a lot. No,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't.
and you know we had to. When did I pick you up? At 6 a.m. I think.
Yeah,
So
we
we had to get
left
up
at like
quite
6
early.
because
Yeah.
the tournament started pretty early, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was at a point at which, I mean, we split the top 8, so the prizes. People were just playing for the trophy, so to say. So in that case, games are a bit more relaxed usually, and people don't take it too serious. Here, I think I had a cool sequence because there's a Utopia Sprawl in combination with Arbor Elf, quite powerful.
And that's like the one package that ends up making it into some of the more competitive formats is Arbor Elf, and then untapping a Utopia Sprawl. I mean, this is
there are a couple of very powerful lines. You can also cast Minsk and Boo with that turn 2 or turn 3. Turn 3 is with a normal dog possible 2.
Yeah.
Here I decided I have the 4 mana available. I just want to use the tempo advantage and cast the P-Wave right away.
Which is okay. It depends on the rest of your hand. I feel like it might be a little bit hasty because the P-Wave, you play cards like Failure, sure. I don't know if you have a Failure in hand here, but I think P-Wave gets a bit worse if you put it into play without anything to protect or to take away from the opponent, because it starts ticking down, and then you're kind of under pressure to do something before the P-Wave pops.
Yeah, it's I thought about it for some time, and I decided to do it because it, just in case you wonder, I forgot to take it down in my upkeep, but we resolved that later, so it's no big deal. Yeah, I thought about it. I just I think I have a combo set up in hand already, and you know, Slimefoot is doing board based things basically, and that's why I decided to bring down the P-Wave. And he played into it anyways, you know, like he played the Slimefoot now, and I get to exile it. And I think I'm not sure anymore. I have the Fauna Shaman. There's an Omnath in hand. I would love to cast the Omnath instead, to be honest.
But you can't be. What is the Utopia Sprawl called?
It's red. There's a red dice.
Okay, so you could have cast the Omnath, right?
No, I cannot. Not
You
turn
can?
2. Not turn 2.
Oh, not turn 2, but
Yeah,
now
now I
have.
could. Now I could cast it,
Okay,
but instead
okay.
I thought, okay, with the P-Wave, I have so much protection. My opponent has to have some hand disruption stuff. I rather find my things and get my creatures on board. So now I played the Open the Armory, which is funny. It's the same artist as a Fauna Shaman. You can see by checking the signature. But yeah, and then going for the Lightning Greaves, I have the Fauna Shaman that can attack. Next turn, I have a protected survival effect, and from that point on, I will find my
Nadu,
things. I can either
basically.
Nadu or Devoted Druid. Yeah. So there's a Bowmaster. Getting rid of my Arbor Elf, and this would probably, I was thinking about whether or not to take it away with the Parallax Wave, because then you deny your opponent's token, which would have been the correct play, to be honest.
And you also leave if you can let the P-Wave pop, and if you end up getting a Nadu, then you get the body in play
Yes, right.
for Nadu when the P wave does pop.
Because now I think my opponent plays another land and then he tries to skull clamp his tokens. So would have been the same outcome, just that I have a Arbor Elf under my P wave, waiting to get back. Obviously,
I'm a little confused. He has 4 lands in play.
Yeah.
When did he play the Skull Clamp?
I think it was a turn 1 already.
Oh, okay, then I just missed it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and here we get to, I think now I'm searching for a sequence and then we realize, okay, I forgot to take down the P wave once more. I was thinking for a bit whether or not I try to finish with, or not finish, like I have to play. I could have gone for Nadu now. But I think the mana was a bit problematic because I only have the green mana I have to tap for Fauna Shaman is used now. And then my only blue source produces green at the same time. So I cannot go for Nadu right now. That's why I decided to go for Devoted Druid, I think. I was also thinking about going for some value lines, but yeah, that's actually you don't want to grind out Slimefoot games because you're always losing the grind. That doesn't make any sense. It's an interesting matchup. It's actually we played it a couple of times too. It's quite balanced, I would say. Really depends.
I would say so too. I think there are some hands that are very difficult for you to beat.
Yes, exactly.
And there are some hands where you get out of the gate quickly, and I don't have interaction for your dorks because I mean Slimefoot is a very powerful deck, but it also has these kind of draws where you do play your 4 mana creatures, your 5 mana creatures, and your sometimes you end up with a curve that is a bit slow.
Yeah.
If sometimes you have hands where the first thing you're doing is casting Slimefoot, and if that's the case, then you're probably pretty slow to get out of the gates and that kind of. And if you manage to get a good hand in response to that, then yeah.
I feel like with Tymna and Thrasios, so the black variant, the matchup was definitely more easy but also because I was playing Cephalid Breakfast, which brings another angle in to pressure your opponent even more. And apart from Cling to Dust and other things, usually you don't expect that much interaction against the combo. And also because you have the Druid into Squirrel combo and stuff. So you have a couple of more things to interact on compared to this variant. Like it's not that much, but it's a minor difference that makes a bigger it's a small difference in terms of deck building or like the deck design, but it has like a bigger impact on the overall gameplay from my experience at least. So looking at his hand now, as you see, we resolved the parallax issue. I apologize for forgetting it. It was because I just exiled Slimefoot end of turn and removed the counter from the P-Wave, and that's why I forgot to remove it in the next upkeep again.
Yep.
So, and as I said, I was incredibly tired. And here is an interesting play, but my opponent blundered this, which I think this was the interaction that cost him the game. So Eldritch away the Bowmaster is scary. There is a potential CMC4 target coming in. Devoted Druid is protected with the Lightning Greaves.
Yeah, so for CMC4, he has Pyrogoyf, Yawgmoth, Headliner Scarlet, Grief, and
so there is the blunder.
Yeah, that's it.
Excuse me. The CMC2 creature says each opponent sacrifices a creature, and in response, he wanted to play the Bone Shards. Then I reminded him of the fact that Bone Shards is sorcery speed. So the correct sequence in order to do this would have been to play the Bone Shards, get rid of the Fauna Shaman, and then play the Eldritch to
Yep.
search the thing.
Yep.
And
he
now I
has no
think I have
target.
only one card in hand. I'm not sure what it was. And I drew a Vizier from top. But so that was a bit lucky. Or did I search that with the Worldly Tutor? No, I think not.
Nope, there's no Wordly in graveyard.
I actually don't remember anymore whether or not.
It's Fauna Shaman lying on top of Omnath in your graveyard. So
Yeah. But I was thinking about whether or not it landed there somewhere, or I think it drew it randomly. So the plan was obviously to have. I think I had like one creature left in hand, and then the plan was to search it with the Fauna Shaman.
Yep.
Either way, like with the protected druid, I could have played Thrasios next turn, draw a couple of cards, maybe find a tutor or something else to get there in the end.
Yep.
So my position was not looking too bad, to be honest. Here, I took a mulligan to 6, at least.
So he's kept a hand with Lightning Bolt, which is always good against your deck. Being able to handle a dog turn 1.
But I'm more scared of having the turn 2 Slimefoots, because the opponent can really run away with that, creating a couple of Suprolings, and you rarely get to block Slimefoot in an efficient way. And then eventually they can run you down with the tokens.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I had a mulligan to 5 even, which is painful. You have to have the most efficient hand available. Something very fast, something that has some protection. Ideally devoted Swift, stuff like this. Naru is also not too bad, but mostly doesn't win on the spot. So
yeah, and I think he doesn't play Snuff Out, but he does play Flare of Malice.
Yeah, that's always
a better answer to Nadu than Snuff Out is.
But when I play against you, it's always rough to have Snuff Out and a Flare.
Yes.
Snuff Out is mostly very, very powerful, like because you don't care about the 4 HP that you take in a trade. While I lose my dork, I lose my combo piece whatsoever, and you cannot really foresee this play because it's a free style.
I was kind of skeptical about including Snuff Out initially, but it's won me so many games. It's such a great tempo play in so many situations.
Yeah.
Where I think even when you're playing against red deck wins, I mean, sure, you take 4 damage, but if you kill a turn 1 2/2 with it that you don't have the board to block very well, then you've saved that life that you would be taking 4 anyway, and you might even have taken 6 from the creature. So even though it doesn't put you in the best position, it's still okay even in those situations.
No.
And against control and things like that, it's obviously phenomenal.
If it wasn't for the fact that control decks mostly play black creatures at the helm, but yeah.
I mean, Aragon.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
stuff like that.
I take that.
Kills a Tamio, kills a bunch of other creatures. There are targets that it doesn't hit. It's not very good in the mirror match.
Yeah.
I have considered playing a couple more. I mean, I play, and he also plays Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which is the only card that you have in the deck that allows you to discard cards. He also plays Bone Shards, but I'm not too big of a fan of Bone Shards.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you need to do it early with cards that you really want to be keeping in hand.
I think it was a card that you saw on the deck like a year ago when the density of options was not that high. Here we have a cool interaction. Grist is actually milling an insect, so we get to repeat the progress. By the way, quite a rough situation for me. I'm already down to 5, and my opponent has a Durus to get rid of my Green Sun Zenith, which was an out to find one of my combo pieces. But now the dork got bolted, and here I have a Stoneforge that is most likely finding a Grease again.
I hadn't seen the Haywire Might in the list, and I'm not really sure why he plays it.
Me neither. Maybe
Because
for
like
the delirium things. Like, does he feature any delirium cards like Detective Phoenix and stuff like this?
well, Detective Phoenix isn't a Delirium card.
That is true.
Maybe
It
for
cares
I mean,
about mana
I think
value too.
Keen-Eyed Curator is the most relevant card
Okay, yeah.
for it. But I feel like Cankerbloom is probably going to be better in most situations
I think he
when you want
plays.
to be playing a card like that.
Doesn't he play? No, actually, I'm at the last Junt matchup. Valentin played the Cankerbloom.
Yeah, yeah. Because Haywire Might doesn't kill creature
Yeah, true.
artifacts or enchantments,
Yeah.
which is very relevant. Quite like it's quite often relevant. Which yeah.
So here he got rid of my Greaves with the with the Grief. Very good. Yeah, that's so now that's obviously a very bad board state, but time for Skullclamp to shine.
Yep.
I cannot block Grief, but I can block some insects, maybe deal some damage to Grist, and at some point he will decide to get rid of Merfolk, and maybe I get to draw some better cards.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Skullclamp is one of those cards that, like, in these situations, it's the thing that lets you get back into the game.
Exactly, yeah, and that's why I play it, and so far I'm fine with it.
It doesn't help that much when you're ahead, but
Yeah,
when you're behind, it helps a whole lot.
yeah, but sometimes you still have the mana left and some. I mean, it's a bit awkward. Like you can sequence it with pot lines. The problem is just if you draw the thing you wanted to pot for, which happens not too often, but it can happen. Then it's a bit awkward, but it gives you some additional value. And then obviously in combat magic.
Where did he shoot the Pyroglyph? At your face?
I think at my face, yeah. I'm at 11.
Did you mark it?
On
Because the
the
Grief has attacked twice now, right?
maybe
So
we forgot to use the thing
okay.
here. So I have a ranger. Ranger is going for something. I think it doesn't really matter with his board.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pyroglyph could be a reason to have the Haywire Might because it cares about types.
Yeah, that yes. Still, if he was playing Urza Saga, then I might understand it more, but he's not. And I don't think the deck should be playing Urza Saga.
Yeah, definitely not. So I most likely go for Nomad because with Court of Calling, I really went for
Delighted.
Halfling. How comes?
Might be the being tired.
Yeah,
Maybe you're thinking of your life total being at 5, and you're thinking, okay, I need a couple of blockers in play.
Yeah, probably was that because
One of the maybe you're at 6 because the Goyf hits for is that a 5? If it's a 5, then the Goyf domed you for 5 in the turn before, and then you should be at 6, and then a bit of damage.
yeah, and I think there was in the second run there was a bit of a misunderstanding. So my opponent attacked. We see a Fable in hand. There's a Fatal Push. Fatal Push can destroy the Thrasios now, for example. It could also can just attack and wait for my blocks. So this gives me room to block the Pyroglyph with Thrasios drawing some cards. And the remaining things can block the tokens, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's 2 on ones
Then I
there.
take 3 from the grief, go down to... Did he actually... Did he really shoot a paragraph towards me? I have no idea.
I mean, it couldn't have gone anywhere else.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
there was just your Thrasios on play.
Yeah. So there is a recruiting nightmare. That's unfortunately very powerful. Not too crazy right now, but it means that he can loop either Paragraph or Grief on the long run.
A bit of an oversight to... okay. Yeah.
Getting rid of my Ranger. Instead, I will sacrifice it. And he shoots me for another 5. So I have one more turn to...
Okay, so you should be lower, right? I think you both missed.
I'm not
the
entirely sure.
Paragraph
So
dealing.
now here's the thing that my opponent packs in, because I was saying like, okay, so my turn. And he was like, he's not scooping. He's winning if I don't find something this turn. So we agreed on, let me just try to find something, and it's fine. We're both tired. I did my mistake with the P wave. Yeah, and I think I top decked Nomad or something, and then I can go for Nadu and try to resolve a couple of triggers. So yeah, we just agreed on don't worry about it. I'll just do my thing and try to maybe I find a line. But as I said, if it
he has a
isn't
fatal
for...
push in hand, right?
Yeah, he
So
has a fatal push in hand.
you cast a Wall of Roots, okay,
Yeah, the Wall of Roots.
which is mana neutral in the face if you want to chord with it.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure. This was the find. Now
Okay,
in
so you
response,
have
he
a
wanted
Neo
to...
form.
That doesn't work. So I just told him, yeah, you cannot cast this because it's an addition.
Yeah.
And there's my Nadu. And now I can fetch, and with Nadu, the court finds my Nomad for CMC 1, which gives me 6 triggers. Now that I know that he has the Nomad, I only have 6 triggers.
The fatal push, you mean?
Fatal push, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not that much, to be honest. Also, if I find any fetch land, I can't use it because I'm on 1 HP. Which means I would have to be insanely lucky. Like finding 3 untapped lands that don't do damage, plus Devoted Druid and Swift of Reconfiguration.
Yeah.
That's probably the only line that gives me a chance here. So there's a Worldly Tutor.
I mean, a land in the Swords to Plowshares also would have kept the game going.
Yeah.
Because he had a Grief and a Pyroglyph in play.
Yeah, it's true.
So you just Swords the Pyroglyph and then...
and then I can still not block the Grief, right? Because I have only one creature.
He sacked the Grief to...
right.
To return the Pyroglyph to play.
Yeah. So a bit of an unconventional...
Awkward.
Yeah, it's a bit of an awkward situation here, but it was not a big deal, as I said. As usually there's no need to call a judge for something like this in a situation that's... Yeah, I could have called the judge and tell the judge, oh, my opponent's scooped already, and then the judge would have told me, well, then we try to recover the board state, which is always a bit strange because you don't know what your opponent had in hand. But as I said, and here I have a mulligan to 6. Not the fastest hand, but I thought like a potential 5 might not look that better. And unfortunately, he has even double discard ready. We saw the Duras, which is rough, right? If this hand would develop the way I would like it to develop, intuition finds me one of my combo pieces, Spellseeker finds the other piece. If I have more time, I can go for the Kiki-Chiki, the Fable.
What did the first discard hit? Didn't see the card.
The Spellseeker.
Okay.
The first one, Thoughtseize and the Spellseeker, and since he has the Duras ready, he can still find either of
so that's a pretty good draw.
The wall, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely. And
Stops
now we
some
see the
aggression.
Duras, and he takes away the intuition. Makes perfectly sense.
Yeah.
Which means that I'm left with my Fable.
You're left without a line to combo, but you're also, I mean, it's not looking too bad.
No, at that point
terms of the mod
I'm
state,
quite fine because he should deal with the token maybe. Next turn I can filter some cards with the second Saga trigger.
Yeah. This is one of the issues that I have with hand disruption in Duel Commander, is that if the opponent does manage to continue to hit their land drops, then they can usually kind of still be playing the game if they just draw spells that they can cast and land drops that they can make, and then cast their commander for one turn, and then they've usually kind of compensated for, because dual commander decks usually don't play any bad cards, right?
Yeah, true.
So the cards that you're taking are most of the time going to be the good cards, but the cards that are, Fable of the Mirror Breaker is still a good card. You're throwing away an intuition for it, but still, Fable of the Mirror Breaker has been cast.
Yeah.
You make a mana, the token gets blocked.
Yeah, here I think I thought a bit about whether or not discarding Vizier. Outside of the combo, it's not the best creature. I could have also played BRUSE, but I have the Finale in hand, which gives me a Nadu. And now my opponent needs to deal with Nadu somehow.
Okay. Yeah,
and
so
even
you're
if it's
making
in
him
the
have it.
graveyard, it's like it trades with one card anyways. And if it's in graveyard, I have a Formal Wear and Helping Hand to get it back at some point.
Yep.
So at that point, I haven't seen that much graveyard interaction from him, so I thought maybe he's not even running Cling to Dust, maybe Ghost Vacuum, some things like this, but not too much,
Yeah.
So I felt kind of okay about that.
So it looks like
I went for
on the
Nadu.
counter you're still at 18. I think you are supposed to be at 17, right? Because you've used the Mana Confluence twice and fetched once.
Yeah. Did I fetch the Meticulous? Yeah, I did.
Yeah. There's a Flooded Strand in the graveyard.
Now I have a Razorwatch Thicket. His hand looks pretty good. There's a Fatal Push, there's an Abrupt Decay, so lots of disruption waiting to deal with Nadu. I was also thinking about whether or not to go for Skyclave, but then I just cast Skyclave and get rid of Slimefoot, and within the next 2 turns, he's going to recast it, or it's very likely. And this way, I keep up the pressure. I have Nadu. He definitely needs to deal with Nadu. I didn't know that he misses the 4th land drop. Now I have Kiki-Jiki. Kiki-Jiki can do a couple of things. And here I just go for Thrasios, and then I can try to find some more cards with the activated ability. Maybe some cool synergy for Kiki-Jiki itself.
Yep.
At that point, I knew
finding
he
some
has
sort of dungeon creature
something
and
like this,
activating it
exactly.
twice.
Yeah. At that
Would
point, I
be
knew he
good.
has Fatal Push in hand because he asked for the CMC of the card.
Yeah.
And now there is the Birthing Pot, which is really a problem here. Like, if it wasn't for the pot, I think I'd be good.
Yeah, he just gets to go get Yawgmoth. He gets to kill your Wall of Roots.
Yeah. He could also
And
reanimate my Nadu and just stealing my way to combo him. Because then I have to find... I actually play 2 removals and Teferi, I think.
how would he reanimate your Nadu?
He has a reanimate in hand.
Oh, he has a reanimated hand. Okay, yeah.
So there's a Pyroglyph now that probably deals with Kiki-Jiki or Thrasios. It actually
Roots,
kills
okay.
the wall. Interesting. Yeah, and then
So you could have saved 1 life. Oh, you did activate the... Okay.
Yeah. So there is another land. I'm not sure what I drew. Solitude would be really cool, obviously.
Something that's very strong in these situations is that you get to for the Slimefoot deck is the line of birthing potting the Goyf away next turn into a Fury, and then attacking with the Fury again and taking the Fury away for a Metamorphosis Fanatic and triggering the Fury again.
Yeah.
And
So here
especially in this case where it's
sorry, I passed the turn. I have the voice, which is fine. I have perfect mana, like 1 mana to activate the Kiki-Jiki. Then I have 4 mana left to activate Thrasios. And voice is actually a very good one because you sacrifice a token and then it creates a token because of the sacrifice trigger, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, with that I can probably enable some, or like bring up some blocking magic, activating it. But as we know, he has the Fatal Push in hand. So I don't get to copy the voice.
Yeah, so the safer line might have been to block first with the voice. Or maybe not the safer line, but you block the voice with the voice and then you target it.
But the thing is that I want to keep the voice, because if I keep, like, at that point, the voice was my win condition as long as Kiki-Jiki stays on field, because I always get to produce new elementals.
Yeah. Well,
that was my thinking.
You said you knew about the Fatal Push, right? Because he asked about the converted mana
I
cost.
kind of knew about it, but yeah, that's true. But maybe.
Yeah, because now he gets to roast both things. It wouldn't have changed that much, but you would have had you would have taken a bit less damage from the Pyroglyph.
Yeah, I mean, with the birthing pot in mind, which is also on the field, with the potential to search for a Fury, that would have definitely been the better play. That's true.
But I mean, these are the kind of plays that you think about in hindsight, and then sometimes if you go that far into it, then he thinks, okay, well then he just lets damage happen, right?
Yeah,
then
exactly.
He would just like you would end up with 2 elemental tokens, but your voice would be gone even if he didn't use any removal there, and then.
Yeah, because next time your opponent does not have the interaction spell, then it's like, okay, why didn't you create infinite elemental tokens, right?
Yeah.
But that's how it is from time to time. So I have the lightning bolt that interacts fine with the Fury. It's not too crazy.
It should kill the Fury now, right? If you're...
Yeah, exactly. I just don't want him to find...
Oh, but you have a Boseiju in hand. Okay.
I also have that, but still, as soon as he gets Prio to activate the pot, I still have to get rid of Fury. I think his line was obviously to pot Fury into Metamorphosis, and then I'm pretty screwed. And here is the Reanimator Fury, and I still get to activate my Boseiju, which
Yeah.
he's a bit angry about, but well, I have to have something, otherwise I'm completely out of the game.
Yeah.
And now with no cards left in my hand, it's already looking bad.
He also could have
Yeah.
just activated the. Oh no, he's probably going to do that now, right? Activate Slimefoot to get back.
I think that's what he's doing. Yes.
Pyrogoyf, deal damage to the dome, and then
The game looks really, really over for me. There is no top deck that could save me here, to be honest. I was just about to say, maybe you could argue about the starting hand. Maybe I should have mulliganed more aggressively, but then again, the deck plays a bunch of removal spells, and as long as I don't get some emblems onto the battlefield, which are, by the way, not too crazy against Slimefoot anyways, because Slimefoot always produces an additional blocker or attacker.
and has a bunch of creatures that are pretty good with haste.
And I top deck
You know,
a land,
Broadside
which
gets through
doesn't
pretty
do
well.
something.
Detective's Phoenix gets through pretty well.
Yeah, right.
Headliner Scarlet gets through very well.
Oh, right.
Screaming
he also
Nemesis,
played that one, yeah.
also gets through pretty well, right? So yeah, putting a like getting the Monarch or getting the initiative in these sorts of matchups can be good in very specific situations if you can protect them with a Parallax Wave or 2 removal spells in hand or something like that. But if not, then it's pretty risky.
Yeah, my opponent just had a lot of interaction here. Looking at my hand, destroying my creatures, was in the end it was too much, and I couldn't find a way to take this home. But thanks for tuning in, and we
Thanks for
will
watching.
see and hear each other in the semifinals.
Yeah, see you next time.
See you next time.